In this video, I wanted to go through some potential updates coming in the future that you may want to invest money into now so that you are saving money in the future, or maybe you want to make a bit of money when it releases too. This video is not going to give you very specific items to go out and buy right now because, again, this depends. You may want to save money on this sort of thing. You may want to make a good amount of money on it. I don't want to tell people to buy a specific item because I'm not trying to invest in this myself. It's just something that popped up when I was working on another video and I thought, you know what, this could be worthwhile making too. I also want to make sure it's clear that the reason I am not giving you guys specific items is because I am not going to be merching on this video. I'm not allowed to. Content creators are not allowed to manipulate the market. And so before you guys get down in the comments, which I'm sure you're gonna, especially now that I've said this, I'm not doing that. I don't even have the money to do that in the first place. And you guys know that when I do make money, it tends to be given away anyway. But the goal of this video is to allow people to make savings by buying up stuff that they may be looking at like wanting on when it releases now. Or also if you're looking to make a bit of extra GP, then you can go ahead and do that. The way we're going to do that is by looking at points of interest along the roadmap and some updates coming in the future. So let's go. So the first place that you may want to take a look at, and the soonest thing that you're going to want to sort of get ahead of, is actually coming in May. So next month at some point. That is going to be the fact that in the Invention Guild, we'll be getting a mission to unlock new blueprints for new main hand skilling tools. Now, these aren't going to be like best in slot, or maybe they might be, I don't exactly know. Not like best in slot like tools, like, you know, your Tony's sort of Matic and that sort of stuff, like the new pickaxe or whatever. But this is looking specifically at rune crafting and thieving as well. Now, the way these work is basically it's the devices that we get from Invention, right? It's going to be things like the fishing rod Matic, the diviner Matic, the hammertron, these sort of things that sort of aid your Invention leveling stuff while giving you benefits to the actual skill. So what we know from this so far is that we'll be able to craft augmentable tools that let you train Invention through rune crafting and thieving, but they say also you'll discover new components that can be used to create powerful new skilling perks and skills like mining and archaeology. So there's a few things to take a look at here and prepare for. If you are wanting to get these crafted nice and early, then definitely like worth thinking about what materials may be used. And of course, if you want to buy in bulk and try and sell them to the players that don't prepare in advance, then now's the time to do that too. But you could take a look at the other tools that we already have in the game and see what sort of things Jagex get us to use to craft these. And of course, you're going to want to run them as well, which is going to cost in other ways too. Next up is going to be coming in June 110 crafting. Now, there's a few exciting things in here, and I'm very much looking forward to this update myself, just because, you know, I kind of like using magic in the game, and this is actually going to be coming with a couple of magic things and some other stuff too. But if you are like me, broke, I mean, you may want to prepare for this one in advance if you can do, and take a little bit of a stab in the dark. And also, of course, there's new stuff coming to the game. There's new opportunities to make a bit of money for the pre-release. Now, Jagex have confirmed that we will be getting the ability to craft level 90 magic armor, which is pretty cool. This is probably not going to be best in slot. I mean, it's level 90, of course, and there's more stuff coming later in the video, which we'll talk about, that clearly makes this probably not going to be best in slot, but it is going to be another baseline for players to get into nice and early to probably save a little bit of money, bit of a stepping stone. But of course, to craft this, you're going to need certain materials. So if you can sort of take a guess at where that could go, you could maybe buy those up nice and early to either make a bit of profit or save a bit of money as well. Then the next thing is going to be the Masterwork Magic Armor, which is coming into the game too. This is, of course, going to be the most interesting one for me, I believe. I think I'm going to want to test this out on release just to see what it's like. It'll make a couple of videos maybe. So I am wanting to get this, but the Masterwork stuff when it releases is very expensive, because they take a lot of time to craft and they do usually have a bit of value in use as well. So level 100 Masterwork Magic Armor is going to be available, and we already have some other Masterwork items in the game, so that could be a solid place to look in terms of what sort of things to expect to be using to actually craft this. And of course, when this does release, chances are anything that you do use to craft this is going to go up in price by a considerable amount. So it's definitely a good place to look as well. And then finally, Jagex have told us that we will be getting an upgrade to urns. Urns are going to be getting a higher tier to boost your XP gains at top level resources. Everybody uses urns now, even for things like mining and, well, I mean, for everything that it's usable, to get a bit of bonus XP. I know I still use them, and so these will definitely be something that are high in demand as well. So urns, if you are going to be wanting to take advantage of these, I have no idea if these are going to be upgrades or if they're going to be brand new crafting things, but I assume urns are very likely going to need similar things to craft than they already do. Moving on to the next bit that I am the most excited about is the boss release coming in summer, apparently, or according to the roadmap, early autumn. It's probably going to be around there somewhere, but of course that is going to be the Amascut boss. Now, there's a few things to consider with this. If you are preparing for the boss, you may want to get prepared nice and early, because if you have played any boss releases in this game, you know what happens to PVM supplies when a new boss comes into the game. Now, PVM supplies, including things like food and potions and all this sort of stuff, things to keep your gear running and whatnot, they usually take a massive hike in price ready for boss releases coming into the game, and then continue climbing during the new release. Now, the reason I have a very sneaky suspicion this is going to be especially true this time is because Jagex have said how difficult this boss is going to be. It is launching in only challenge mode, so you'll have to actually take on the boss in the most difficult difficulty when it releases until the first team defeats it, which will unlock the other difficulties for everybody else. So a lot of supplies are going to be drained when this boss releases, absolutely. And if you are someone who is preparing to take on this boss, you don't only need to prepare your bank in terms of gear, you need to prepare yourself in terms of ditching a crap ton of supplies when the boss releases as well. So of course, knowing this, there's opportunity to save a ton of money and opportunity to probably also make a good amount of money too. Now, the other reasons you may want to prepare for this release or get some gold invested into stuff before this releases as well is because of the drops and the rewards that this boss is going to be giving. We know for a fact that this is going to be dropping 2 new tier 95 weapons, so let's talk about those. The tier 95 weapons you're going to be taking a look at and releasing here is the Necromancy Siphon. A Siphon for Necromancy is the main hand, so this will now probably replace or, be used in place of the Omniguard, which of course we get from defeating Raziel. And while this may not replace it in terms of being best in slot, it could be on par with it. You just sort of choose, or maybe bring both as a switch. Is definitely something to consider, the fact that we're replacing the main hand and not the offhand. Specifically because Jagex have said that this Siphon is designed to enhance your souls build, giving you the extra edge in combat. So enhancing your souls probably going to be used very nicely with the lantern from Raziel. But of course, there's a few things to consider whenever you get an upgrade to a combat style. If you're a person who does use Necromancy and you don't have best in slot gear, it might be worth grabbing this before the release, because if this is insanely strong and Necromancy becomes broken as crap, then you can probably expect to see this Necromancy gear spike as well, just like when anything does release that gives a power buff. The next thing, of course, to take a look at is the melee weapon. This is going to give an extended attack range, so AoE stuff, probably going to be like some sort of halberd or spear or whatever. We have concept art here that you can take a look at, of course, as well, but we also have the fact that this is going to have a special attack too, so this could work with other melee stuff. But again, you need to consider the fact that if you are wanting to use this and test this out and you are a melee player, or maybe you just want to have melee when this releases, you're going to want the best in slot melee gear too to go along with it. This is a tier 95 weapon, so the prices of these gears are likely going to take a hike when this does release. So preparing not only PVM supplies but gear and weapons ready for this release is probably something you want to consider as well. Finally, we are getting a new set of magic power armor. This is absolutely going to be the best in slot set for magic when this releases. If it isn't, Jagex, I don't know what the frick they're playing at, but of course, there's no way this won't be the best in slot magic armor gear. Now, of course, this is armor, and so the things that you're probably going to prepare for this, if you want to test it out, is the weapons for magic. Now, we've just had the new dual wield tier 95 weapons. Of course, these are probably going to be sort of working around this armor, and the armor is going to take into account the weapons that magic has and the style that magic works with, so you can kind of expect them to sort of go hand in hand. So again, prepare yourself for this release if you are wanting to take advantage of this and test out the magic gear. My goal before this releases is basically to just have everything that I can ready to test out all of these for videos. Yeah. It's probably not going to happen. I need so much more money. Not only that, though, you need to consider the fact that if this changes the current meta of combat, people will flock to this regardless of what combat style they prefer. People may prefer using ranged everywhere, but if magic, melee, or necromancy becomes insanely broken, people will swap because it saves them time and it makes them more money when doing PVM. So prices could skyrocket unbelievably. We used to pay 9 bill for a Staff of Armadyl, for crying out loud. So, people are unpredictable. So it's good to be prepared beforehand, or again, if you know this stuff beforehand and you have gold to spend, then you could invest in this. It's also worth thinking about the fact that there is the excitement factor to this too. This is going to release, people are going to want to test it out. All of these things are likely going to increase in price just so people can test it out, and then whether they get dumped or not depends on how good they perform in the long run. And then further down the line, we have a couple of other things to take a look at, but not a ton of information, but still things that you might want to prepare for if this is something that interests you or if you want to make some good money. And that is, of course, going to be the combat update, which is coming at the end of autumn, coming into winter. This just literally says combat update. We don't have a ton of information on it, but combat update could mean many different things. But combat update likely means combat gear and price increases even further than when a mascot releases. This is coming after a mascot as well, so prices are likely already going to be all over the place. So if you are wanting to, maybe you just want to specifically enjoy magic, maybe just get your magic gear up to par and ready to go for this. That way when it does drop, if you want to test anything new and exciting out, you don't have to like pay a stupid amount of money or miss out on it in the first place. And then of course we have the 110 thieving update coming in winter, or the end of the year, probably towards like the last thing we get. I don't think there's going to be tons of money to be made here. I mean, it could be completely wrong, but it's likely going to be things like get your skilling gear ready, the thieving outfits and that sort of stuff, and any other things that you may need for this. But I figured it was worth mentioning because of course it's a new skill sort of content update, and whenever these things release, there's always good money to be made. People were making stupid money with the 110 rune crafting and the 110 mining and all this sort of stuff on release, so even if it's just for a few days, you can get prepared for this and make a good amount of money. And then we'll end the video by reminding you guys that we have Haven Hearth coming as well. New area expansion coming at the end of the year, winter as well, and then the whole of the next year, 2026 to 2027, is focused on Haven Hearth as far as we know. This is very likely going to come with many opportunities to make a crap ton of money from investments, but also a ton of opportunities where the players like myself, where we don't invest in stuff and prepare too well, likely going to have to pay a fortune to take advantage of a lot of things. So might be worth keeping an eye on the news price for those as well, and getting prepared in advance for that sort of thing too. But anyway, I hope this video was interesting at least, or useful at the most, and if you did find it useful or interesting, then please leave a like, sub to the channel if you are new, and I will catch you all in the next one. So there guys, thanks for watching, bye.